Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This will be a review on the 2.0 Armored Batman from Batman vs Superman by Hot Toys. I hope you enjoy this review, folks. It's also a bit of an unboxing as well. That's how we're going to start things out. And hit the like button on this one for me, folks. I really appreciate your support with that. Subscribe if you haven't done already. And check me out on Instagram at DeanKnight333 for all the pictures. Beautiful artwork on the box. I'm not sure if that's the figure. That looks a bit more like the real Ben Affleck in the suit to me, just from the way the eyes are lit up. Not sure. There's another picture of Batman up there, but that looks like a figure because you can tell by Superman's hair it looks sculpted. And there's another little image of Batman there in the corner. But very nice artwork. I'm going to try my best to keep this box. I've been getting rid of a lot of them recently just to save space, but I'm going to try and hang on to this one. It just looks really, really nice. Nothing much on the back, just details. Sides look good. It just says Armored Batman 2.0 Deluxe version. There's a lot of stuff in this box. It's a heavy box, folks. Heavier than I thought it would be. But there is a lot in here, and some of it is metal, so that would account for that. Just trying to get this slip cover off. That's really tight on there. I have to do it bit by bit. I'm going for the full experience here with the unboxing, folks. Alright, so he's in there. And that's everything you get. We'll get a much better look at this. I'm just showing you how it's presented. Everything looks nice and secure in there. I want to feel how heavy this is. Oh my god! Oh my god! Seriously? You're joking? No way. No way! Or is it the fact that the cape's stuck in there? I don't... Jeez! This is heavy, folks. Heavy! Give me a second. I need both hands to get his cape out there. Heavy! Alright, yes. Holy smokes, folks. This is really, really heavy. I wonder if he's heavier than my other... Well, the heaviest Hot Toys figure I have before this one, or maybe it's still the heaviest, is the War Machine Punisher figure. That's really heavy. It's too heavy for me to even have on a shelf. I just don't trust it. This one could be just a bit less heavy, but I'm very surprised and happy about that. Let's just see, like, it's cold to the touch. The helmet's cold. That's metal. These are metal. This is metal. That's metal. So we got metal, 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 and then plastic, plastic, obviously, plastic, metal, plastic. I'll give you some metal, 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 metal. Oh, well, that's a bit disappointing. The battle damage interchangeable chest piece, that's plastic. I thought that was going to be metal, but no. It just looks like the clean parts are metal, and the rest is plastic. Because here's the battle damage shoulder pads. They feel... Yep, they're plastic. Oh, well. Okay, and underneath we have the diorama base, which does look nice and big. And then we have these little bits here for lighting up the eyes and the kryptonite spear. So I've been a bit nervous about this side of things. I was hoping I had all the right cables to get this done, but they do supply you with these little cables, which I think you then connect into just like a USB. Yeah, so that should be fine. Okay, cool. That is disappointing about the battle damage parts not being die cast. I thought they would be. Then on the underside we have another cape, which I believe is the wired cape. So you do get a draped cape and a wired cape. Alright, you can remove this little bit of rock, and then you can put in your clear stand with the waist grabber, but it's very loose. Like when you put it in there, I've made sure it's in all the way, but it's wobbly and loose and just comes out super easy. That is trash, you know, quite frankly. That should be secure. It's wobbling around like crazy. Okay, well, the waist clamp barely fits round his waist. Like, it's right at the, you know, the edge of how much it can open up to grab him. And you really got to push the waist clamp as far as it'll open to accommodate even just the most thin part of his waist where there's no armor. But then you don't want them squeezing as they are right now on the suit. But if I try to raise it up and put them any higher on the armor, I don't think the clamp can take it. It's really not very well thought out, the stand. I mean, with the cape you can barely see any of the diorama anyway. It is bloody impressive. But this is everything, almost everything that you get inside the box. There is also the extra cape, which couldn't quite fit on the desk here, so you do get that, the wired one, and the cables for lighting up the light up features. Man, the way the light hits the metal, it's awesome. Because it's all kind of pitted and, you know, it doesn't reflect like a T800 endoskeleton does when you're trying to film that. It's very tricky because it's like filming a mirror. But this catches the light and it looks amazing. And the eyes aren't even lit up, but they are a nice bright white plastic. And I'm looking forward to trying out the light up feature for you soon. So I double checked the box, and I guess you only get one battle damage gauntlet, which surprises me. I thought you would have got two. Just the one. Nice selection of hands. He's got fists on at the moment. That's the Bruce sculpt. Damn shame that bat helmet is not metal like the clean one is. And the kryptonite spear. I mean, it looks great even when it's not lit up, just the light hitting it. It looks fantastic. Two extra mouth plates, as well as just the straight face that's in the sculpt at the moment. I still think these are an improvement, but they're still a bit soft. Like the mole isn't as prominent as it should be. The stubble is there, but it's not looking as realistic as I would imagine InArt would do this. You know, in the movie when I was rewatching it recently, his dark stubble contrasts against, in the night scenes anyway, in the rain when he's about to fight Superman, the stubble really contrasts against the skin, and I'm just not getting that here. We'll get a much better look at these in a moment, but yeah, they're good. They're an improvement over the last two, but could be better. But I tell you folks, I just touched it now and I was just, it's freezing cold to the touch, man, in here, because it's a cold room. That's why I'm wearing this big moo thing with dinosaurs all over it. But the die-cast parts are cold, man, really cold to the touch, and that feels amazing and heavy. Everything feels bulky and heavy. I mean, this is a shrunk down Armored Batman right now. I mean, this is nuts. Look at him. Looking around. Oh, this is so cold and heavy. I love you. Yes, sir. Well, I owned the original clean Hot Toys figure, and I owned the battle damage version later on. I sold them both, and I think I sold them just before this was announced. So I sold them not knowing that another one would be coming down the line. Man, it all worked out in the end. This is the one to have. Right, one last quick look at all this stuff, because I want to get it all out of the way and concentrate now on just lighting the figure and posing him up and just trying to make him look as awesome as possible, which is not going to be hard, because he already looks amazing just standing there like that. But there's your hands and your battle damage parts, your kryptonite spear, the spare head, the little bit of rock that you removed to put the stand in, two other mouth plates, two other shoulder armor, his grapnel gun thing, the little, you know, bomb things filled with kryptonite gas, and little eye tool, and that's pretty much it, other than the spare cape and the wires for the light up feature. And you do get some spare wrist. Get out of the way. Yeah, bye. See, I was hoping someone else would be the first to review this, so I didn't have to go through all this stuff, and just, you know, once you've seen one major video showing you how it all works, I can just bypass that and get on with the cool stuff. But I'll show you anyway, because I think this is going to be quite an early review, folks. So that plugs in at the bottom there. Be very gentle and very careful. I can't remember which Hot Toys figure it was last time that had a cable like this, but it broke. I think it was the Feral Predator, actually, for his biomask. Yeah, that broke. Exactly the same as this. This one has not broke because I was much more careful. You just got to be really careful. Right, so let's plug in. You get in there. There we go. Right, he's in. Alright, so let's do this. Let's turn the brightness down, and let me zoom in, and we'll turn on the lights and see it for the first time together. In focus, turn the brightness on the camera down a bit. Alright, I'm turning on the light. Where's the on switch? Here we go. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Nervous. What if it doesn't work? It will work, surely. Woohoo! Yeah! I see you. I see you. These are bright. These are bright. Very bright.
Nice. Alright, let's get it back on the body.
Absolutely stunning. Now, I'm thinking, folks, I want to make sure this review is as good as it can be, and if I have to show you the battle damage look in one big video, then it's going to limit things at the end of the day. It's going to shorten my time with the clean look, because I'm going to have to think, oh, I need to move on to the battle damage look now, and before you know it, the camera battery's flashing at me and I've got to wrap things up. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to do part 1 and part 2. That way I can focus solely on the clean look here, show him with the in-art Superman, and something I want to do very soon in the video, and get him off the shelf and team him up with Batman here, see how they look together. But then tomorrow I'll bring you part 2, focusing all on the battle damage look, if that's okay with you, because I want to make sure this video is as good as it can be. I don't want to have to rush to get to the battle damage look. But he is amazing looking, and the cape is perfect. You know, just like it was on the original 2 versions by Hot Toys. Don't think there's any need for a custom cape with this particular Batman. They got the texture just right and it's weathered very nicely. And they gave you 2, a draped cape and a wired cape. But that is only for the deluxe version here. But the light up eyes are incredible. They are just as bright as they need to be. It makes the whole thing come alive. The detail in the pitting in that helmet is incredible. We'll get a closer look. I'll switch to a different setting. I can get much closer than this. But it looks like it's really him. And I really, really am glad we don't have to worry about batteries this time for the eyes. Just get it all hooked up. And get yourself a nice long USB cable. And that's what I've got at the back here. It goes all around the desk to the side of me where it plugs in. And you can leave him lit up like this for quite some time. I don't know if they advise leaving it on continuously, but certainly when you got folks coming around or you just want to appreciate it, you just switch it on and enjoy. Alright, here we have the Hot Toys 2.0 Batman on the left and the in-art BvS Superman on the right. I'm sure a lot of you will be planning on putting these two together in your display, and this is how that will look. Bases go pretty well together. Superman's is a little bit taller, but as a, combo side by side, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I do think a big factor on why the Henry Cavill likeness is so strong on the in-art figures because of the skin tone being as perfect as it is. Nice pale skin contrasting with the dark hair and the red and the blue. There is a Jackson custom cape on the figure at the moment. It's a slightly more vibrant red. Alright, let's get a nice close-up on the head sculpt here, and I'll try out all the different mouth plates for you. Yeah, I just think the stubble could be better. It's fine, I don't want you to worry listening to my words and then thinking, oh, I'm worried about the stubble now. I'm sure when you see it in person you'll be satisfied with it. I just know it could look better. But it's there. Just wish the skin tone was a hint more accurate and the stubble was a little bit more obvious. But it's fine. Mouth looks good. Lip color. And all the detail on the helmet is fantastic. Alright, let me try a different mouth plate for you now. Alright, eventually got the mouth plate out. It's actually quite easy, just kind of slide it down. And there is some magnets in the top to kind of hold it in place. Because as soon as it slid out, I thought, uh-oh, is this going to be one of those, it's always drooping down kind of things? But the magnets are in there, so they should hold it in place quite well. And here is the more angry expression. And he does make this exact expression a fair bit in the film. Teeth look good here. I can see a little bit of gum up in the little corners, the top teeth.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a very intense look. I like it. Superman doesn't though, he's looking a little nervous. Alright, now I'll show you the last mouth plate. I'm getting used to it now. I didn't have quite as much trouble putting in the third mouth plate. Managed to keep the cable attached as I remove the head carefully and just slip in the new mouth plate. Great detail on the teeth. You can see the tongue in there as well. Excellent detail and paintwork. Oh, well, I'll tell you straight, he's not one for articulation. Even, I just wanted to, first pose I wanted to try was getting the fists up for a fight, but even that, I mean, the sound the arms were making as I was trying to lift them up just didn't sound good. It's just a combination of the plastic, of the armor kind of crunching against each other, and the suit underneath kind of creasing, and very, he's very sturdy, and it feels high quality when you're trying to move the arms, but it's just not fun to do. He's not going to be one for posing. I know in the blogger pictures they really go crazy and they lift those arms up, and yeah, I mean, I'll try it for you, especially in the battle damage part 2, I guess, when he's wielding the spear. I'll get him holding that in this one as well, and I will show you the battle damage head in this video. It's just I want to focus on the clean look for part 1. But yeah, not fun to pose so far. He is a reluctant poser. Well, from this angle, if you lift the camera up, it doesn't look too bad, but yeah, it's quite difficult to just even get a simple fists up pose with him. You know, but there's definitely a ratchet in the arm. As I was lifting this arm up like this, I could hear a snap, 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 holding it in place, so he's locked in. That's good. And if you're going for the battle damage display, if you do end up with any kind of rips in the suit, it kind of works, I guess. The material does feel quite tough, so you should be okay. But I was able to lift up the arm that much. I mean, that looks cool. That looks like he's throwing a punch. I wasn't going for a punch pose here. I was just lifting up the arms to show you, but yeah, it's definitely possible. It just takes a bit of getting used to. He's very sturdy, very thick and heavy, but he can get it done. Yeah, I switched out to the battle damage head sculpt. We'll get a better look at all this setup in part 2, but I do want to show you this because I know you want to see it. So I do think the gums could be, as little of them is showing, I think they could be more gummy. You know, there's not much pink there between the teeth at the top. That is disappointing, because as small as that little area is, it's jumping out at me. But it is a great looking sculpt. I kept him in that pose that it's like an accidental punch pose. But the plastic helmet here, you know, there's no visible telltale signs I'm seeing that it's not metal. It does match up with the clean metal parts around it. And the eyes are very good. They do move. They were a bit wonky when I first got them out of the box, so I fixed them. And I'll turn them to the side for you as well, so you can see that. Yeah, just a shame about the gums. I know there's barely any gums showing, but the little bit that is, it's just not really painted correctly. Belt looks really nice. I remember on my first one, the plastic clean Hot Toys figure, the first one they made, I remember the belt on that was much more grey if I remember correctly. And then they golded it up a little bit with the battle damage version, and now with this one they've gone full on with the gold, and it looks really good. Damn. Okay, well, looking to the side, I think that might be the way to go here. That looks super intense. Look at that, folks. Alright, well, I gotta save this for part 2, but I'll just give you one last little look. We'll come back to this. Imagine that, but holding the spear. Forget about it. Right, I wanted to do the, you know, just him standing looking up at the sky pose, which I do love that look. But when the eyes are lit up, and even if they're not lit up by the looks of things, I don't know how far back you can tilt that head. And plus you want to be careful about that cable. You don't want to crush that. But from where the armor is sitting right now, that seems to be about as high as I can lift the head up. Could be wrong. But I know they did it in the blogger pictures. So, yeah. You're getting ready to throw a punch there, Superman. You better be careful. Also, his shoulder armor here, I noticed, is, I mean, it's velcroed on there, but it's very high up, separated from his actual arm. Like, it's not sitting on that arm at all. And maybe that's just an articulation thing, but there's nothing blocking it. I'm pressing it down, but it's noticeably raised, which I'm sure it's slightly raised in the film anyway, but I just noticed that. It just seems a bit too far away from his arm. But that's on there, and I think that's just how it is. Yeah, that side looks pretty separate as well. Quite raised. Oh, he is looking quite high up. Well, this should work. Let me work on this pose and then we'll look at it from above. Alright, well, that's good enough. I think that achieves that look. And I'm not putting any strain on the cable at the back. I've been very careful. So, yeah, if you have it on a lower shelf and you want that iconic moment, you can do it. And it looks incredible. Really incredible. Wow, that is really nice. Can't stress it enough, folks. He's such a big, heavy metal, cold to the touch. Oof, it's cold. Very cold. Extremely cool. Did Hot Toys make a bat symbol for this one? I swear they were going to, or they did, and I've just forgotten about it. But if you've got that standing next to this in this pose on a low shelf, you know what I'm gonna say. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Forget about it. But with the kind of blue setting on the camera and the lighting the way it is right now, I mean, the skin tone looks pretty accurate to me. So I guess it, you know, and obviously in the movie they use all kind of filters and post-production color corrections and all that stuff to get it look exactly how they want to. So, you know what, I do still think the stubble could be a little bit better, but maybe the skin tone's not too bad. I've got the kryptonite spear all lit up. That took me a minute to figure all that out. My buddy Joseph was messaging me when he saw I had this and asking me, how do you get the spear to stick into the base, like in some of the pictures he saw. I'll have to go back and check those pictures, and I'll take the figure off the base and have a look around for maybe somewhere where the spear can stick into, but I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, it took me a minute to figure out how the cable goes through the spear, but eventually it clicked and I was able to get it done. But he looks even better now, and I've fixed that belt. I think it's in a more accurate position now. But yeah, the spear just adds to it. It really does light up nice and bright. Check it out. Very cool. So yeah, lovely. Plug it in, don't have to worry about batteries, and it looks amazing. It is definitely a massive upgrade over the previous two. They were fantastic, they really were. But if you have this in front of you, you'll see what I mean, you'll feel what I mean. I was trying to get him to lean in a bit as he was walking with the spear, but there's not much crunch in the midsection there. I mean, there probably is in the body, but the armor's not really allowing me to get much out of it. You could definitely push it more than this. It's just the base as well doesn't really give you much room to work with for a walking pose. Wish that was just a bit wider, you know? Give you a bit more pose room. Nice side profile on this guy. The cape is really good. They've done a great job with the choice of texture on the material. Nice and weathered at the edges. There's some dirt on there as well. It hangs really nicely, and I think they've done a great job with the cape. Alright, and here is the Dark Knight Returns Batman next to the 2.0 Armored Batman. Who is taller? I think the Armored Batman 2.0 has a bit of an edge. Just a little bit. Shoulders are almost the same, but the top of the head, I guess because he's wearing an armored helmet. Yeah, so there they are, both standing on the desk. Pretty much the same size. There he is next to my original Hot Toys BvS Batman, but with an Unreal Toys head sculpt and a custom cape. It's not too bad, size-wise. I mean, he has got the extra height with those boots and the underneath. And then obviously the armored helmet. Here it is next to the Dark Knight Rises Armory Hot Toys Christian Bale Batman figure. Look at the base, very nicely sculpted and painted. I do really like the design. Some great effects there, impact, different tones, but I do like the sharpness of the sculpt. Just wish it was bigger, a bit wider, a bit more foot room. You know, it's very difficult, you know, working with this base to achieve decent looking poses. The legs can move a fair bit, but there's no real room here to do that. Very nice looking base though, I do like it. Just wish it was bigger. A little bit bigger, not too much. I suppose that's what they're thinking, you know. You don't want to take up too much space and have people complaining about it, but just a little bit more foot room there would have been very handy. And there is the nice and subtle nameplate, I like that. And we'll just see in-art Superman next to the Hot Toys 2.0 Batman, but not on their bases, just standing side by side on the desk so you can see the true height comparison. Okay everyone, that'll do it for part 1, and when I come back for part 2 and show you the full battle damage look, I'll give you a final score out of 10 at the end and the final thoughts. But do come back for part 2, don't miss it. Subscribe to the channel so you get notified as soon as that goes up tomorrow. And drop a like on this one for me. It's really positive though. I mean, I wish the base was bigger, and a bit disappointed that the battle damage sections are not die cast like the clean parts are. And that's about all I can complain about really. It's a really fantastic 2.0, definitely a big upgrade. But we'll be back tomorrow for part 2. Stick around, let me know what you think in the comments folks. Always good to hear from you. Thank you for the support on the channel. It's been a good couple of months. But I think you're going to have to take a little break for Christmas, and hopefully nothing too tempting comes out in the meantime from Hot Toys. I think we've still got a ways to go before the T-800 endoskeleton, the big chap alien, the jungle hunter predator, although Scarecrow from Batman Begins, that 2.0 should be coming out pretty soon, I think, so I'll have to be ready for that one. Alright folks, stick around for part 2 coming soon. Thanks for watching, see you soon, bye bye. That's how he looks on the shelf. I'll have to rearrange things a little bit, and obviously I won't have the wires showing, I just plonked him on there to see how he looks amongst the other DC mostly. Yeah, I think it's pretty much, oh yep, DC and Deadpool. You do not belong, sir. He's still in the wrong place. See, Selena doesn't look too bad there, but that in-art one looks incredible. Alright. That's an accident. I just put Bruce Wayne over there because he's been, well, that's where he was. And now it looks like he has bat ears because Michael Keaton's behind him.